I hope this video finds you well. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I don't usually watch shows on Netflix and then hop into a video the next day about what I thought about it, but I was kind of late to watch the show, so I thought I'd just put this video up. So yesterday, I watched all of Young Royals, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it, so I was like, I have to make this video. So basically, I don't know what attracted me to the show. I knew about the basic concept of the show, and I saw the trailer and I was like, you know, this could be bad, could be good, because it's very tropey high school show, but a teen school show about Prince and all his royal duties and his royalty family. That sounds like a recipe for a cheesy mess. Like, I've seen so many dramas in my life, but I was super impressed with it. So now I'm going to break this video into 3 sections, talking about the show for those who haven't watched it, talking about the show for people who have seen how it ended, and then the last section is what I want to see next season. So with this trope, there are so many things that could go wrong. You know, I was expecting, you know, it'd be over dramatic, unrealistic, it would be so cheesy, the royalty wouldn't be likable, but all that out the window. Yes, the high quality of directing alone will distract you from any bad writing, any bad acting, but it was well written, the direction was excellent, and the acting was also excellent. I loved all the characters were consistent. There weren't, you could see what their motivations were. They weren't just random characters. They weren't too underdeveloped or cartoonish, and by that I mean, you know, they're evil or they're just super nice for no reason, and you don't really know what's happening. And they really flipped the trope on its head. So the show is about young prince. He gets into a fight, and then his mom gets scared, and then his mom says, "Not you're moving to Bel Air, but you have to go to a boarding school," and he finds love there. And you would think from the first episode that he would be quite a rude, sort of privileged sort of guy, but that's not the case at all. So it completely took the trope and flipped it on its head. I just thought the shots were so beautiful. If you watch the whole thing without sound, it's just so aesthetically pleasing, and I did an amazing job shooting Young Royals. So now I'm going to get more into detail, so if you haven't seen the show yet, click off. So now to those who have watched the show. So we all know by now, Wilhelm is the main character. I don't know why I'm explaining this if you've already seen the show, but I expected from him, I watch a lot of K-dramas, so like Boys Over Flowers, very privileged, wields his power, abuses his power, bullies everyone, very rude, disrespectful. He never abused his power, he was never rude, he was never disrespectful. And I didn't expect that. And it was very interesting to see how that played in with the other characters. Wilhelm, sorry I'm saying his name wrong. Wilhelm Will, he never tried to use his superiority over anyone, force his power over anyone, try to break the laws, try to get around the rules. And it was like very rare that he did so. So basically, he has one side that only his family sees his true nature. He can be angry. He has the human emotions. He can be kind of bratty. He can throw a fit. He can scream, which he does with his brother and those who are closest to him. But as soon as he comes in contact with people that aren't related to him, he has a completely different mask. He bows his head, stays silent, does what he's told, even though he is in a better position than all these other students at the school who are basically not. Well, in the particular instance when he was getting hazed, he kind of just does what everyone else does. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna keep my head down, I'm gonna be polite at all times. And we know on the inside, he said he doesn't want to be here, he doesn't want to leave, he doesn't like the people. He told his brother, he was screaming, I don't want to be, and then he's like, hi, nice to meet you. Never breaks that facade. And I just love, that's probably what I like the most about the show, is the duplicity of Willem. And you're just like, why is he doing that? Well, it shows that he put his family's reputation in front of everything that he would ever want. He was screaming to his brother because that's the only person who hears him, understands him, and the only person he can be his real self around. So next is Simon, which is Willem's boyfriend. I love how they met, how the relationship progressed. It was very natural, smooth. So Willem kind of made the first move. He took more steps to spend more time with Simon at the beginning because, it'd be kind of weird if Simon approached him first, because then it looked like he was only interested in him because he's a prince. So I'm glad they didn't do that. First, the love interest liked the prince because he was royal, and then they realized that they actually liked him. I'm glad they didn't do that. So they did an amazing job with the plot. Simon's non-border. I loved how they had him kind of speak Spanish and Swedish at home, and then he tried to reach out to his father. You knew it was kind of, he wanted to gain more things from his father than really connect with him, but there could be kind of space for growth there. Meanwhile, his sister Sarah didn't want to have any contact with the father. She didn't want to speak Spanish with her mom. I assumed she could. I was very shocked by Sarah yelling at her mom to sit up at the dinner table. I'd never seen a child tell a mother to sit up at the dinner table, ever. In any real life TV show. I was like, what? Did she just tell her mom to sit up? She's constantly berating our whole family because she blames her mother for what the father did, which is the most depth to her character. Now, other than that, you don't really know what she's going after, and it just seems like she's obsessed with Lisa's lifestyle and just wants to be her, and she just hates everything about her family. So she's not likable at all, but very, very interesting character. Now, it's not that all these characters are likable, it's that they're very complex and you kind of feel for them after just 6 episodes. And as for Lise, I think the female characters were very shallowly written. It's not their fault, it's just they didn't have a lot of depth to them. So Felice, very shallow. We just know she was into Willem because he was royalty. But then we saw a little redemption where she tried to help him discover who leaked that photo of him, which Sarah knew. I don't know why she wouldn't tell her brother that. So Sarah is probably the biggest question mark. The strangest things in the show were coming from her end of the story, and it didn't really make sense. So that's probably the one thing I didn't like. And I just love how, artistfully the show was shot. After Willem and Simon first kiss, Willem, calls it off, and then he's debating whether to call Simon or not, and he's just in bed, and he's stroking his torso, and you don't need to have words, you just show the shots. It showed so much. He was burning for him, and it was all visual, so no telling, just showing visual. And it had beautiful shots of them intertwining their fingers, them holding their hands like this. It's kind of good I don't have visuals, so go look at the show if you haven't. And shots where their feet were intertwining, their fingers, were intertwining. And there's like a lot of tight shots like that, which were a lot better to portray the emotion they had to portray than these wide shots, which I really, really liked. And I just loved the normalization of being gay, because I'm very frustrated with the gay characters being the gay best friend, the gay like character who has no development. They're just like the token gay person thrown in there. So I'm just glad there's like finally a gay lead character. Like, it's really ridiculous. They're always this throwaway character who's underdeveloped. I love the normalization of being gay. They said they were doing nothing wrong. It wasn't anything unrealistic. Like, they had to stand up in the hallway and say, "I'm gay." Like, in Love, Victor. And also comparing it to like Love, Simon and Love, Victor. It's, very clear in Love, Simon they weren't gay, and it was very, like, you could tell it was just like two straight guys trying to be gay, and it was very uncomfortable, but it was a lot more comfortable with the love scenes with these two actors. August was such a difficult character to wrap my head around, because he did terrible things, but he showed some humanness to him. Like, when he sent the compromising video for the prince, his like finger was shaking as he hit enter. So it showed he had some sort of connection to his cousin, and I thought he really did care about his cousin, until he was like, he would make a terrible king, I would be much better. He is everything, and he was just clearly jealous of him. So I just really didn't know if he cared about Prince at all. So he's a tricky character. And now I want to talk about the end, the breakup. So I really liked that the breakup was between the two of them. Like, thinking about what they had to do for their families. So going back to the drug incident where Simone was in trouble for dealing the drugs, and Willem really was trying to protect him. It kind of came to the issue of, whose family are we more worried about protecting? Like the royal family or Simone's family? So, that conflict, it would keep coming up down the road and becoming a problem. So they had to choose to part ways. Willem defending his family's reputation steadfastly, no matter what, and it wasn't what he wanted to do. It caused him to lose everything. He had already lost his brother, he lost Simone. So when he cried the single tear when they broke up, I really felt it. And I just kind of hope, I was just like, why aren't you using your privilege to kind of pull some strings in your favor? And he never used his power for evil, because when August couldn't pay for his tuition and was about to be expelled, Willem made the call and made sure he stayed in the school, even though his own cousin betrayed him. Probably the most rude thing is that he said Simone's house was cozy, which is how a rich person says someone else's house is small, and that's probably only the rude thing he did. And I may make it out to seem that Willem did no wrong. That's not true. But he always apologized every time he did something wrong. Like, he apologized for saying August had money problems, that he couldn't pay tuition, and he said that in front of everyone. And he apologized to Simon for trying to hide him, because you can't have a relationship if it's only on one person's terms, and that's completely wrong. So I really like the scene where, after they broke up, the prince brought Simone into an embrace, and just a couple characters left over. A big unrealistic thing in TV shows is when everyone's overly interested in the main characters, and it's like the whole room stops and they stare. The prince would just hug him in public and say, "I love you and I'm sorry," and it was just an astounding scene. So next season, hopefully Simone can take him back, because right now Willem has absolutely no one. He doesn't have a brother, he doesn't have a friend, he doesn't have a boyfriend, and he's absolutely alone.